Hello, DFT10 students. This is going to be just a quick little video here that's going to show you some of the basic navigation hints that I've got for you to help make your life a little easier as you are navigating in LibreCAD. It'll just make you quicker if you practice these, and it'll become second nature very quickly. A lot of it has to do with the zooming and panning around your drawings so that you can zoom in and zoom out, and which you're going to need to do quite a bit. So I'm going to start with layers. There's a layer menu on the right side, and if you've got my default drawing open, the starting template open rather, you should see all of these. If you don't see all of these, make sure you go back and download my starting template from the website and open that up instead, because it'll just save you the work of having to duplicate all of this. Make sure you watch the video on how to start documents, how to save documents, etc. And you'll see some more examples there. In this layer menu, it's basically whatever you see at the top is the closest to your eyes. Whatever you see at the bottom is the furthest away from your eyes. And I've got a bunch of very specific menus and colors, or layers and colors, in here, and they all have a purpose, and you're going to need to use all of them at one point or another in the course. So I'm just going to quickly go through what those are. The top one is usually denoted as a 0, and it's your most important one. It is always your object layer, which means the object you're supposed to draw should be drawn on that layer. So when you hand it in, if I turn the eye off on every other layer, but leave it on for the 0 layer, I should be able to see your drawing, and it's the object that you were supposed to hand in. So that is... So that's the most important layer. That's the one where you're going to be drawing, sort of all of the really important lines in your drawing. Then I have some construction layers, and construction layers have two types. You want them to be very different colors because you're going to use them to, basically it's like a temporary line that you're going to use to get the right angle or the right dimension or the right length or something like that, but you're going to go over top of it at some point with your object layer. And this little hashtag here indicates whether you want it to be a never-ending construction line, and if you turn that off, it'll be a limited length construction line. So for my green con1 layer, short for construction 1, if I draw a line, okay, you'll notice that make sure I'm on my green layer first. Thank you. Now, when I draw a line, you'll notice that it tries to draw it forever, which is fine. I'm going to hold down the Shift key, which when you're using the Shift key, holding it down while you move your mouse with the line tool, you'll notice it snaps you into 15-degree increments, which is generally what you want. Very common angles, right? 0 degrees, 15 degrees, 30 degrees, 45, 75, 90, and then all the way back around to 360. So if I draw a line and then hit escape, right click, draw another line, you'll notice that they are green and they are never ending. And I might use that, if I go back to my object layer, as a point maybe to start a line, is the intersection of those two. And then when I'm done my drawing, I just hit the little eye and it's gone, but my object line stays. So that's construction line number 1. My con 1 is in green. My con 2 is exact same. It's just a different color. It's still going to be infinite lines. So, so if I draw using that one, maybe I want a bit of an angle on this line. Maybe I want a specific angle on this line. In this case, what angle do I want? 150, and I'll make that line 300. Don't worry if you don't understand what I'm doing with all the tools. Those come later. What's important is you understand the layers right now. So that's a 45-degree angle right there using my con 2 layer. Now my con 3 layer and my con 4 layer, those are both also construction layers, but I have the hashtag unclicked, which means that when I draw lines in these, should I go to that one? When I draw lines, I can start anywhere and stop anywhere. So I can draw something like that. You'll notice it wasn't an infinite line, and the yellow line is the same. So if I just wanted a line that went from here to there, okay, then I can do that. It doesn't go all the way up and down to infinity. So I usually have 2 construction layers that go infinitely, and I have 2 construction layers that only go where you want. And you can turn those on and off with the eyeball and it doesn't delete them. You can just turn them on and off. Okay, selecting things to move them, copy them, cut them, delete them. There's two different ways of doing it in LibreCAD, and this is the same for just about every drafting program. If you start from, it just uses your mouse cursor, if you start from the left side and you click the left mouse button and you drag a rectangle over top of something, it'll only select it if you get the entire object inside of the box. So if I want to select this yellow line here, I have to click here, and I have to draw a box that doesn't just touch it, but actually gets around the entire thing. And when I get around the entire thing, you see that it's now dashed. That means it's selected, and I can do stuff with it. I can rotate it, I can move it, I can do all sorts of stuff. So just because I completely surround it. If I don't completely surround it, you'll notice it doesn't do anything. So that's how you can select certain objects without selecting other things. So if I want to select this green line, or maybe I'll make a circle just to make it a little bit more obvious. Let's say I want to select this circle, but I don't want to select this line. If I use my tool and I just draw a square only around the circle, but I hit the line, see, I hit the line, but I'm completely around the circle, and I let go, it selected the circle, but not the line. So I hit delete, and only the circle goes away. So that's really, really important. If you go the other way, so if you go from the right to the left, you only need to touch the object with the box to select it. So if I'm on the right side, I click, and now notice I just hit a piece of the circle, I hit a piece of the yellow, and I hit a piece of this purple, both purples, and I let go, you'll notice how it selects all of them. And now if I hit delete, they all go away. So that's important to know, is you can select moving from the left to the right, or you can select moving from the right to the left, and it does different things. It selects different objects. Okay, so I'm just going to, because I want to get rid of everything right now, I'm going to start here, down here on the left, or on the right. I'm just going to go up, and I'm going to kind of grab everything, hit delete, and it's gone. If I want to do a little bit more, just go outside, delete. So now all of my construction layers have been deleted. All right. Now, at the very bottom, there's two blue layers. One's called View, one's called View 45. These are for a certain unit, Unit 3 in our course. We're going to need these sets of lines here, and you don't need to worry about them until that unit. So just keep them turned off and then lock them so you can't accidentally delete anything on them. So that's part of it. Now, you probably noticed me zooming in, zooming out, and doing some sort of panning and things like that. So I'm just going to show you how I do that because it becomes second nature very quickly. I'm just going to draw a couple lines quickly to help me demonstrate it. So I'm using my Con4 line right now. This is how you get around in AutoCAD, and it comes really quickly. It might seem a little awkward at first, but you learn how to do it really quickly after a while. If you ever are zoomed way out or zoomed way in and you want to get your entire drawing back in the picture, you just double click the middle mouse button. So that's the scrolly wheel on your mouse button. So if you double click the middle mouse button, you notice how it zooms and puts it right in the middle of your screen. So it doesn't matter if you're zoomed in or if you're zoomed way out. If you double click that little middle mouse button, that scrolly mouse button, it zooms right back to your screen. So you can do these things. Okay, so this would be auto zoom. You can do these things with this menu up here, but it's way easier just to do it with your mouse. Zooming in is, for me, it is pushing that scroll button forward, and zooming out is scrolling toward my body. So scrolling toward the screen with the mouse spinning wheel and then scrolling back away. That's zoom. How do I grab a document and move it where I want it to go? Let's say I'm zoomed in over here, but I want to look at my drawing. If you hold down the middle mouse button, it turns into a hand, and then you can just drag it wherever you want. So I can drag it up, I can drag it down. I can zoom in and then drag over so I can see the end of that line. And then I can zoom back out again by double clicking that scroll wheel. And there you go. The right mouse button is used to show you history. So if I want to draw another line, instead of having to go all the way over to the line tool, click it and go back, I can right click the mouse and it'll show you the last 10 commands you did. So there's my 2-point line. I can draw that line. Then if I want to draw another circle, I can go back and get the circle. So that just saves you from having to go over here all the time. There are also shortcuts on the keyboard for every single command. Like if you want to do a line, you can just hit L on the keyboard and hit the space bar, and then you could draw a line. If you want to draw a circle, I think it's C, maybe it's CI. Hit space bar, there you go, it's CI. So you can do that, and you will use keyboard shortcuts, but a lot of the drawings use very similar tools. Like you'll need a bunch of circles or a bunch of lines. So you'll find yourself drawing lines, and then if you need to draw another line, you're just going to right-click, find the line in your history, draw another one. Need a circle. Okay, need to draw an angled line. So I'll go there, change my angle to 45 degrees this time, and length 300, and I'll put it right there so I can be guaranteed that that's a 45-degree angle. Need another line. Go grab another line, and whoops, missed it, line. And then when I go to measure that, because I told it to be 45 degrees, I would hope that it is 45 degrees. By the way, when you're checking your measurements, you always, I usually use this dimension tool here, so I just go to either the vertical length, the horizontal length, the aligned length, or if I'm doing circles, radius and diameter. So if I want the radius, I'll just click that. And then you click on the edge of the circle, and it'll tell you what the radius is, 63. If I want to check the angle of something, I would go here, click the angle tool, and then you select the two lines that you want to get the angle between. So this line at the bottom, this line at the top, and then you'll notice it's 45 degrees on the inside. If I go on the outside, it's 135. Why? 45 plus 135 equals 180 degrees, which is a straight line. All right, so zooming in, zooming out, panning, getting back to the full screen. That's the basic sort of navigation that you're going to do. And again, I usually keep my thumb on the space bar, and we're looking at the left side of the keyboard. My thumb on the space bar, sort of make an L with your left hand, and then either your middle finger or your ring finger up on the escape key, where space bar is accept a command, and escape is basically just back out of the command. I always get, like when I draw a line or something like that, and I'm done, I hit escape to stop it, and usually I hit it more than once just to make sure that I'm out. So I just got in the habit when I was using AutoCAD of hitting it 3 times, because some tools have a bunch of different settings, and you had to do 3 steps in order to make it work. So you'd have to hit escape 1, 2, 3 times to get out of the tool. So it's just kind of become a habit for me. It doesn't necessarily need to work that way for you in LibreCAD, but if you ever plan on doing this in the real world, you'll probably be using AutoCAD. So it's not a bad idea to get used to tapping that escape key. Again, spacebar just accepts a command. So if I get my length in 100 and then I hit spacebar, it'll basically say, if I hit L for the line tool and then I hit spacebar, it knows that I want to draw a line. Try that again. L, spacebar, draw a line. If I do CI, spacebar, draw a circle. There's all sorts of them. I don't know if P is point or maybe it's PO. Yeah, there's point, and most of them make sense, right? AN will probably be angle. Nope. If it's not right, your shortcut, there's angle. If it's not right, it'll tell you unknown command. I have in the drafting textbook that I made for you, I have shortcut lists built in here, and I don't know them all yet because a lot of them are different than AutoCAD. But that might save you some time. There we go. So if you look here in the drafting textbook, you can access line using the keyboard shortcut L, LI, or the entire word line. Angle. Angle doesn't have a shortcut. Okay, didn't know that. Probably because you have to adjust this stuff in the menu. Circle is CI, rectangles are EC, polygon is PL, things like that. Spline is SPL. And some of these are the same as they are in AutoCAD. Some of these are different. Tangent lines, tan, PC, etc. So if you like using keyboard shortcuts, and I usually do a lot of that when I'm in AutoCAD, I'm finding that using the right mouse button in LibreCAD is pretty handy when I'm trying to do something that I've done in, say, the last 10 minutes. It's really easy to find. It's really easy to find these tools that I've used recently and not have to go all the way to the menu again. Okay, so that should give you some idea of how I've been navigating and zooming and selecting things and deleting things and putting things on certain layers and drawing on certain layers, which is frankly essential for being efficient in the class. You will, even if you're a bit slow at the beginning, you will get used to this very quickly, and it becomes second nature quicker than you think it will. And I think you're in good shape. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know, and we'll just keep moving forward with these tutorial videos as necessary in any given unit. Have a nice day.